Hello, this is Claude Sports Corner. In fact, this is a very special Claude Sports Corner because this is a Super Bowl edition. What I'm going to do now is on the defensive side of the ball, I'm going to give you my all-time top 10 Super Bowl performers. And again, this is on the defensive side of the ball. At number 10, I have Big Game James Harrison of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, a big part of why he's on this list is that 100-yard touchdown return that he had in the Super Bowl against the Arizona Cardinals. That was one of the pivotal turning points of the game. And, in fact, it helped the Steelers win that Super Bowl, which is also remembered for the 2-minute drive of Ben Roethlisberger, culminating with that pass to Santonio Holmes with the famous toe tap at the end of the end zone there in the back of the right corner end zone. And, of course, the Steelers won their 6th and final Super Bowl to date. And as a Steeler fan, I'm hoping that they would have done better. In fact, looking at the way that the Patriots played, it's actually pretty sad to see that the Steelers didn't make it, but I digress. At number 9, I have Ted Hendricks. The Stork, the Hall of Famer, he did most of his damage as an Oakland and Los Angeles Raider. Now, he also won a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Colts way back when, but this is mostly for his blocked field goal in the Super Bowl against the Minnesota Vikings. He was an integral part of the championship teams of the Raiders of the 70s and the early 80s. And he is number 9 on my list. At number 8, I have Von Miller. We already know why. He was the disruptive force against Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers in that Super Bowl. He was outstanding. He has definitely built a Hall of Fame type of resume, despite the Old Spice commercials. But I have him at number 8 on this list. At number 7, I had to have another Steeler representative, of course, and he is Jack Lambert. Jack Lambert was the face of the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and of course, his iconic outburst against Cliff Harris, coming to the aid of his teammate, Roy Gerela, who had missed the field goal. Cliff Harris tried to intimidate him. Jack Lambert was having none of it. The rest, as you know, Super Bowl history, as the Pittsburgh Steelers won their 2nd in a row against the Cowboys that particular date. And I have Jack Lambert at number 7 on that list. At number 6 on the list is the NFL's all-time Super Bowl leading tackler. His name is Rodney Harrison. Yes, Rodney Harrison of first the San Diego Chargers and the New England Patriots. I have him at number 6 on the list. He's been a great performer. He's been an integral part of the Patriots' early success. And, of course, he was there during their failure as well, failing to complete the undefeated season against the New York Giants. But Rodney Harrison has been a great big game performer and is one of the reasons why the New England dynasty is what it is. And I have to have him here at number 6 on the list of all-time Super Bowl performers. At number 5, even though he was never the best player in the Super Bowls, even though those Giants teams won it, listen, we know that he was the focal point of the defense, and his play caused other players on that Giants defense to elevate their game. He is, of course, the real and only LT, in my opinion. No disrespect to the great LaDainian Tomlinson, who is a Hall of Famer in his very own right, but there is only one LT, and that's Lawrence Taylor of the New York Giants. He is the greatest he is the greatest defensive football player to have ever played the sport. You can make a case he is the greatest player who ever played the sport, but I have to have LT at number 5 on the list for those 2 Giant victories. And he was, of course, the focal point. So he is number 5 on the list. At number 4 on the list is the NFL's all-time leading sack leader in Super Bowl history. And It's not who you think it is. It's not Mean Joe Green. It's not Reggie White. It is the late, great, and I can't believe he's not in the Hall of Fame, Pittsburgh Steeler by the name of L.C. Greenwood. L.C. Greenwood is he was a great pass rusher in his time, often overshadowed by Mean Joe Green himself, and at other times Jack Lambert, and at other times the great Mel Blount. But in his very own right, L.C. Greenwood should be in the Hall of Fame. There's no question about it. And he is number 5 on the list of all-time great defensive players in Super Bowl history. At number 3, I have the New England Patriots star Willie McGinnis. Willie McGinnis was outstanding. You know what? If you want to give a tie to Willie McGinnis and Ty Law, I have absolutely no problems with that, because Ty Law was a great corner, no question about it, and he saved his best for the Super Bowl. Ty Law was an outstanding corner for New England, and you know what? He's a Hall of Famer in his own right. Now, I don't know if Willie McGinnis is a Hall of Famer, but he did come up big in those Super Bowls for the New England Patriots. I have him at number 3 on the all-time Super Bowl performers on the defensive side in the top 10. Now, at number 2 is a name that is forgotten a lot of times unless you are a true football fan and you're a fan of either the San Francisco 49ers or the Dallas Cowboys. And obviously I say that because the great Charles Haley is on this list. Charles Haley was a phenomenal defensive player. He could pass rush, he could cover, but he obviously was a horrific pass rusher. He is the quintessential edge rusher, and he helped turn the Dallas Cowboys not from a very good team to a great team. He changed the balance of power in the NFC, where it went from San Francisco to Dallas. Remember, for the longest, Dallas could not touch the 49ers, and there was a long stretch for a decade that the 49ers in the 80s, obviously, were the team of the decade. In the 90s, it became the Dallas Cowboys, especially the mid-90s, and a lot of that had to do with Charles Haley leaving the San Francisco 49ers to go to the Dallas Cowboys. And we all know the rest is history. Ask Dallas. They won 3 and 4 seasons as well, and that defense was their anchor. As much as they were known for Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin, that defense of the Dallas Cowboys, very underrated, and a huge part of why they were a great defense was obviously number 94 Hall of Famer Charles Haley. And at number 1 on the list, are you serious? I couldn't pick anybody else at number 1 but the 4-time Super Bowl champion and the anchor of the greatest defense, of all time. And of course, if you're talking all-time great defense, you want to say the 85 Bears, and I did leave out a lot of the Bears, and I apologize. I mean, Richard Dent, Dan Hampton, and those guys. That 85 Bears defense was great, and they were great for more than 1 year. They were great for about 3 to 4 years. Let's be fair on that. A lot of people tried to say that they were only great 1 year, but that was the year they won. No, they were great from 83 to about 88. But that pales in comparison to a team that was great for a decade on defense. And that's the Steel Curtain. That's the greatest defense of all time, bar none. You want to bring up any defense you want. Everybody falls short to the Steel Curtain defense of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who's the heart and soul of the Steel Curtain? Mean Joe Green. Why is he number 1 on the list? I just told you. You want to argue that? You're stupid. Well, I'm just being facetious, but he's the leader of that defense. He's the reason that they won 4 Super Bowls in 6 seasons. You'll never see that defense ever again. And in my opinion, he's the greatest defensive tackle. Now, Aaron Donald is doing this thing. Let's see what Aaron Donald does tomorrow. But as of right now, and as of this time, the number 1 defensive player of all time in Super Bowl history is Mean Joe Green of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, it'd be funny. I want to see what type of list that you have, and you can leave that in the comments section if you agree or disagree with the list. Obviously, this is my list, and I would love to see what your lists are. Please like, share, subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Claude White. Please take care, and God bless.